Okay, so now we're looking at the activity that is in the Google Classroom. You can access it through your Google Calendar, or if you just go to Classroom and find the College and Career Readiness class, and you will find the assignment there as well. The documents that we're going to be focusing on this video is the example future planning guide, the course sequencing sheet, and the high school course catalog. So let me open up the future planning guide. So one of the first things that you will need to do is to put the career and or industry on your calendar or on your document. Excuse me. And so just so that we know when we're looking at your plan what you are thinking of doing. The other thing is to look at the post-secondary necessary education or training. And this will be found on the ONET site as well. So you could just pull that up. You might already know. And then the other thing that you need to do is you need to take that snapshot that I just talked about in the previous video, and you need to include it on the document. And the reasoning for this is to make sure that you are aware of what kinds of courses will help you prepare for this career. Now, you don't have to include everything, and you might not be able to find something. So, for example, we don't have any public safety security classes per se, or medicine and dentistry classes. So you kind of have to think about, okay, well, what kinds of things am I going to do in this career? What things may help me? Now, the other thing to consider is you can also take classes that you may enjoy, okay, and that are not necessarily career geared, okay, but why not take the opportunity to take classes now to see if you are interested or you can do what the career requires. So say, for example, you want to become an accountant, and you have issues in math class. You struggle, your grades aren't great, or maybe you just didn't pass it. So you really have to think about, is this really the right career for me? So when we talked about influences when you were looking at your careers, one of the things that we talked about was the skills that you have and your interests, what you are interested in doing. So it's very important to take these things into consideration. And why not, while in high school, while you're, getting your education, take advantage of the opportunity to take classes that may be geared towards your career instead of waiting until you're in college or trade school when you're paying for it, and then you take all these classes and then decide, you know what, I don't like this, and then you have to kind of start over again. So take advantage of the opportunity that you have. So looking at the sheet, so once you do that, then you have this grid, and this one is completed. This is the example one, but I just want to make sure that you're aware. So you would start with this year's grade. So if you're 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, whatever it might be. So what you're going to do is you are going to map out what your classes are for this year, and then you're going to see what you can or will take in the upcoming years. So one of the things that you might be like, well, wait a second, how do I know what I'm supposed to take? So one of the things that you are going to do is you are going to use the course sequencing Google Sheet. And I'm going to show this to you. So how you read this is it tells you each subject area how many credits you need. So 1 year, so a fall and a spring semester would be 1 credit. Okay, so after this, then what you would do is you would find where you're at. So if you're in 10th grade, you're in English 2, and you are in English 2 and in 10th grade. So what you're going to do is you are going to take a look. So are you in English 2 or Cultural Studies, or are you in Honors English 2? So if I'm in English 2, then I'm going to take English 3, then English 4. This one's a pretty easy, straightforward. Math, you need 3 credits. Okay, so say for example, I'm in 10th grade and I am in Algebra 1. Okay, so I'm either going to take Algebra 1, and then I need to go to Geometry or Practical Math, and then I need to go to Algebra 2 or Practical Math. But say, for example, I'm in 9th grade and I'm in Algebra, then my 10th grade year I take Geometry, 11th year I take Algebra 2 or Practical Math, and then 12th grade I take Pre-Calc, Consumer Math, Practical Math, or AP Calc. So one of these things that you need to think about, you only need 3 credits of math. Okay, so technically you only need to take 9, 10, and 11, but we highly recommend that you take a 4th year because it's better for you to keep in that groove of math class. So you go through all of these courses, right? And you just kind of look through, and it tells you, like social studies, you're required to take U.S. government and U.S. history, okay? And government is only a semester course. So then you would take government and world geography. Required electives. These are things like your physical education, your technology, etc., etc. And it tells you what you need for each category in those as well. So then you have your student choice elective, and you might say, well, there's nothing here. This is where the course catalog comes into play. So you have the opportunity to look at the course catalog from this year and examine what courses are available. Okay, and it tells you if a course is full year or if it's a partial year, like a semester course. Let me see if I can find you one here. So communications, it's a semester course, it's half a credit. Gives you a short description. So if you go through each of the subject areas, it will give you all the required courses, and then any type of electives will be listed at the bottom. This is where you can choose your electives. So let's go back to the planning guide. Okay, so I had the career of nuclear medicine technology, and I went through and did my required courses. And as you can see, I'm in 10th grade, I'm taking biology, I need to take chemistry, and I need physics. And this is something that's up here on my knowledge. So I need to make sure that I get into those classes and I take them. So when I get to the student choice electives, there is anatomy and physiology, and I need pre-calculus, right? Because that's another math course that is required by my career that I'm looking at, right? So these are things that I should probably take. Now, there's not a whole lot else that is geared towards this career, because there are a lot of classes like radiology and medical terminology, and those are just things that are not taught here at PA Distance. So I kind of have to think outside the box. So what are classes that I could take that might be closely related? Well, psychology and sociology. Those are things that, one, I'm interested in, but also would help me. Psychology is learning about the people and how they process information and how they react. Sociology is looking at society as a whole. So in my career doing CAT scans and PET scans, I'm going to be dealing with a lot of people. So these classes, they sound interesting, and they might be good for me to know, just because I'm dealing with a lot of people on a daily basis. Now, Spanish too is kind of like, oh, I want to learn a lot more Spanish, but also it's going to help me because, remember, I'm dealing with a lot of different people, and if I can speak a little bit of Spanish, that might help me in my career at my job. So that's kind of why I picked that. Computer programming just sounds kind of interesting. So those are the reasons why I picked those. So as you can see, you go through and you pick which careers or which classes, excuse me, that you might take in the future. So this is the assignment that you need to complete. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Mrs. Al-Amoudi, I'm an extension 110, or you can also call Ms. Budd. She can help you with this as well, and her extension is 209. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy doing this activity, because like I said, it will really help you out to plan your future. Remember, this is due on Friday, October 11th, but if you do need extra time, at the latest, it should be submitted by Tuesday, October 15th by 8 a.m.